Welcome to the Ho-Ho Show.
Rated the #1 most listened to podcast on Pluto. So join us now as we discuss news, politics, current events, and so much more. So clear the airwaves and strap in as we
defend the Constitution, because freedom matters.
Broadcasting live from the Park Studio. Welcome to the Ho-Ho Show, and as always, I'm your host, Ho-Ho. So how y'all's doing? I hope you're doing good. I really do. So I'm a day late. Yeah, I'm basically on time. I think it's like 11 o'clock hours is when I am going to be starting to do the show. However, yesterday things just didn't work out. Didn't get home in time. It happens. And hello, Dave, over there in YouTube land. He says, happy Sunday. Yes, I'm excited. I really am. We got a lot to talk about. We really do. First off, yes, okay, there it is. So last Monday, I did a show on Monday. Good grief. I did a show because Harris had put her campaign platform stuff on there, and I do go ahead and take a listen to that episode. Watch it. It is available on the platforms and whatnot. Available as a podcast. It is available on Rumble, YouTube. I think I put it on Facebook as well. I'm not 100% sure on that one, but I know it's on YouTube and I know it's on Rumble. So go ahead and check that out. And of course, it is all over the place on various podcast platforms. So there we go. And I did go ahead and put in the magazine for this episode that is available over at thehohoshow.com. You may have to click a couple things to get into the news feed, and there you will see that magazine. Just click on that and you can see that one. It's up there, close to the top. Now, let's go ahead and get into it. Now, y'all know how I like to start the show. I like satire. I'm a fan of the Babylon Bee. I really am. I'm a fan. I like them. I think they're hilarious, especially whenever it is satire with a purpose. I mean, isn't that even funnier? Satire with a purpose. So here's this article. Again, from the Babylon Bee. Department of Justice warns if Trump is elected, he will do to them all the stuff that they're doing to him. Say it ain't so. Oh. I had to laugh at this one. I really did, because, I mean, isn't that what they're afraid of? I mean, in all honesty, that's exactly what they're afraid of. And that's what they keep on accusing President Trump, with the whole dictator thing and everything else. Dave put in and goes, sorry, I missed it. I meant to catch up and listen to it. Isn't still on Spreaker? Yes, it is still on Spreaker. Absolutely. But yeah, that episode is available. And, it was funny because I read the article, I seen the article, read the article. I'm like, like it, not even 24 hours before the debate, and you're finally going to put some, platform stuff available on your website. It's like, holy crap. I mean, this is, talk about waiting for the last moment to do something like that, and it's like, it was copy and paste more or less. It's like the stuff that was on there was the stuff that was on there, that was on Biden's website, basically saying to everybody that if you like what's been going on for the past 3.5 years, vote for Kamala Harris because you're going to get nothing different. And that's more or less what she said with that. Wow. Why would you say something like that? But yeah, it is, and I just started recording it and, put it out there and yeah, there you go. So back to this article. Department of Justice warns that if Trump is elected, he will do to them all the stuff that they're doing to him. And that's exactly what seems like is fueling a lot of their everything that they're doing. That's what they are accusing Trump of doing. That's why they are calling him a dictator. And of which case it's like, okay, you look at what a dictator is. Is that describing Trump and how he intends on governing, leading the country? Or does that more so sound like something of what Harris talks about and Biden has been doing? It seems to me like it's more descriptive of what the Biden-Harris administration is doing and what is just going to be continuing to happen under a Harris-Walz, I think I said that right, administration, of course. But yeah, this thing, it actually absolutely cracked me up. I read it. It was funny to me. So yeah, you can go ahead and check that out. Let's move on. Now this one. Okay, now, all right, let's back up a little bit. Before we get into that, let's back up a little bit. We are going to be talking about the debate. We're going to be talking about some of the aftermath of the debate, and we're going to be waiting just a little bit before we do that. But first I want to talk about a few other things. So let's go ahead and get into it. This headline from Los Angeles Times: Trump says that he won't tax your tips, overtime, or Social Security. Why critics see gimmicks and the sham. Now, here's the thing. Let's be clear about something. The president may be able to drive the narrative on, taxation and everything else, but let's be clear about something. This is not something that the president can do by himself. He has to have the support of Congress because it's, the purse strings is in the hands of the House of Representatives. So in all honesty, yes, he can drive it. Yes, he can announce the type of things that he will support and will be easy to just put on his desk and him sign. However, this is something that doesn't come from the executive branch. This isn't something that comes from the president. This is something that comes from Congress. They have to agree to put stuff like this in a bill, pass it, and then put it on the president's desk. So let's be clear about that one. Now, here's the thing. Taxing tips. Trump saying that he's not going to tax tips. Dude, I'm all for that. Okay? Because you're talking about a gratuity thing, something that you do whenever your waiter or waitress or, anybody in the service industry that operates on tips goes above and beyond. I mean, isn't that what it's for? And one of the things that I'm just going to be honest with you, one of the things I hate is that whole, forced gratuity, where you have to tip, you're forced to tip. And then, with the whole card reader thing, that they make it harder and harder to basically not tip. And I don't really like that either, because tipping is something that you do out of the kindness of your heart. You go to other countries and some of them, it's like, no, you don't tip in other countries, but here it's part of our culture. And I'm also going to be honest with you on this one. I think that people in the service industry should be paid more regardless of the tips they get. because they factor in, that people in the service industry are paid a lesser wage because the people who operate the business are banking on gratuity to, lift their wages up to the minimum wage. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like that. I think that's a sham. Tips and something should be that above and beyond. It shouldn't be factored into your wage, and it shouldn't allow, you shouldn't be allowed as a business to, lower the wages because they're service industry and they're going to make tips. It's like, dude, pay them the livable wage, pay them the minimum wage, do that. You shouldn't be forced to live off of your tips and whatnot. However, okay, let's be fair with this. If they're going to do it like that, the government does, guarantee that minimum wage. So like if your tips don't rise to the level that they're supposed to, then you get that money back. You're, at the end of the year and whatnot, but still it's like, yeah, I don't like it. And no, I don't think tips should be taxed. Absolutely not. A hill I'll die on. Tips should not be taxed. Social Security is another one of those things. No, you shouldn't tax Social Security. Why should you? This is money that's already been taxed as it is. So why are we taxing somebody's Social Security whenever they've retired? Why are we taxing that? We shouldn't be taxing that. That to me just seems ridiculous. It's a double taxation. I mean, good grief. We get double taxed on all kinds of things as it is anyway. Why don't we leave people's Social Security alone? Dave put in here, he goes, I love the idea of no tax on tips. To be honest with you, most of the waiters I have known don't exactly declare everything. Yeah, exactly. They get creative with things as well. That's the American way. Yeah. And that's the thing, again, it's like, you declare these things and then you're penalized for it. It's like, dude, I wouldn't be declaring that either because I don't think it should be taxed. And it's sad, but like, it's like, dude, it's sad because we live in, for the most part, a cashless society, And any chance I get, I try to tip with cash so that this way I can give those people the option. If you don't want to declare this, then don't. Now obviously whenever your tip is included on the bill, whenever they pay, with a card, yeah, you can't really run away from that, unfortunately. And cashless society, yeah, you can. But cash is king. And I try to give people in the service industry just for that reason, so they don't have to declare it on their taxes. I try to, any chance I get, even if I am paying my bill by credit, I'll cash that tip, and it's just, that's the way it should be. You should do that. You should do that. You really should. This way you give them an option. Don't declare that. Don't give the government what they didn't earn. What did the government do to earn that money? They didn't. They're stealing it from you. And you look at, and this is where, okay, hold on. Let's stop for a second. The other thing that Trump is talking about not taxing is overtime. And I mean, good grief, have any of you done overtime? Your taxes are high enough as it is, and you work all these overtime hours. And then whenever you get that pay stub and you see what your check is, and it's like, holy crap, they take so much money away because, a lot of the times, you're like right there on the very edge of taxation, and that just kicks you right over the edge to where now they're taking even more money out on you. And it's like, holy crap, you're being penalized for working overtime, helping the company out, helping you out because you're getting like time and a half and whatever. Very, very nice. It sounds great. And then the government takes what they claim is their share out of it. Is it really? And again, here's my thing. Especially when you're talking taxes. Look at how the government spends. We don't have a taxation problem, okay? We don't. We're taxed enough already. TEA, the Tea Party, this is what they're founded upon. We're taxed enough. It's not about taxation. I mean, dude, give us a break. Corporate tax prices, we're like one of the highest in the modern world. You know, in the industrialized world, we have one of the highest corporate taxes. Why? Corporate tax rate, in my opinion, should be 0. You want to know why? Because corporations, Walmart doesn't pay the corporate taxes. You do. Those taxes aren't paid by the company. They're paid by the people that patron the businesses. They're paid by the individual. Why? Dude, you want to bring businesses back to America? You want to bring jobs back to America? You want to bring industry back to America? You want to do that like you say you want to? Lower the corporate tax rate. It'll do the job that you claim you want to do. I mean, every single time we have lowered the corporate tax rate, what have we seen? A bump in investments, corporate investment. We have seen a bump in jobs, in growth, in opportunity. People expand whenever they don't have the corporate tax rate. That's what they do. And you're going to claim that, oh, this is going to cut, we're going to lose so much money. It's not your money. It's not. It belongs to the people. It belongs to these corporations. That's who the money belongs to. What did you do for that money? Nothing. And then they have the audacity to spend that money in places that, in all honesty, we don't want them to do. I mean, they'll give that money for gender studies in Pakistan, but they won't help a vet off the street. Oh, they'll help left, right, and center. An illegal alien that just jumps across the border, they'll give them everything. You know, they'll give them, food stamps. They'll give them, housing vouchers. They'll give them, free health care and sex, sex change operation and whatnot. What are they doing for the homeless veterans? We have no obligation to do anything for any other nation whatsoever. Don't believe me? One of the things that, these Democrats like to talk about, and, because they want communism. They want that stuff. And one of the places they like to talk about is Denmark as being the poster child of communism, of socialism. But what they don't talk about is they don't do illegal immigration in Denmark. Oh no, they'll kick your butt out. If you want to go over there, then they don't just let you in. Oh no, you have to prove that not only are you not going to be a negative to their ledger, that you're going to be able to go over there and, take care of yourself, but they also basically make you do above and beyond as a foreigner going into their nation. They don't want to talk about the type of rules that are on there and how, they don't do jack diddly squat for foreigners, because their job as the government isn't to take care of foreigners, it's to take care of the people in their own country. Why don't we understand that? Our government. You want to know why? Because it's not about spending. It's about taxation. Okay, yeah. They have to have that money because they have to spend it. Give it to other countries. Why are we paying for other countries across the world? Why are we giving more money to illegal aliens than what we are actually giving to our own people? Veterans, people whom we do owe them something. We don't owe anything to any other nation, any other people. Oh yeah, we'll pay for, Ukraine to fight this war, and we'll pay for other countries to have a beefed up border security. But what are we doing for our own border? Nothing. Just letting people walk on in. Dave put in there, he goes, I'd like to see an effort to make all home improvements tax deductible. I like that idea too. New roofs, pools, and all things that help move the economy further a new deck, landscaping, and so on, that would help. Dude, I like that idea. Home improvement stuff that actually improves, your neighborhood, your home, your own living condition, what have you. Yeah, I like that idea of having, just tax credits or whatnot. And, for some things they do that, tax credits for stuff. They do that for home improvements, windows, other things that you can get. And yeah, dude, I totally agree with that. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. I have issues. We'll get into that here in a minute. Just a couple minutes and I'll be right back. Have you ever sat down on the throne just to find out that you are dangerously low on shift tickets, making it to where you have to make a mad dash to the store just to pick yourself up some? If this has ever happened to you, pick up the #1 most rated toilet paper found in Uranus and use what the professionals use. Angel Soft. See, I'm just not a fan of some toilet paper. Some of them it's like putting a pillow between your nice rosy. Others, like John Wayne toilet paper, it's like using sandpaper. But do what the professionals use. Use the type of toilet paper that is the Goldilocks of brands, Angel Soft. Available wherever toilet paper is sold. All right, and we are back. All right, so guys, I got a little something. So I had something on my mic right there. All right, so anyway, a month ago, I got put on water pills. And so when they kick in, it's like, holy crap. Just saying, just throwing that out there. So I may have to take like a minute, periodically throughout the show to kind of, go tinkle. It happens. Just saying, throwing that out there to you. Anyway, let's get back into this stuff. So, I'm okay with being taxed. Okay. I understand that, the government has things that they are supposed to be doing, should be doing, and, they need money to do that. What I don't like is seeing my tax dollars go to things that I don't approve of. Things that my tax dollars are going that, just quite honestly, it shouldn't be going to. I mean, how many countries are on our government's welfare list? And it's not just the welfare list. It's the fact that we just give them money. What is our tax dollars paying for? For an oligarch in another country to buy a new car. I mean, that's the reality of it. The sad thing is that's the reality of it. And that's what happens. And it's like, dude, I would like to buy a new car. I mean, holy crap, we're taxed like what, 40% of what we earn? That's ridiculous to me. That's a lot. We have the federal taxes, we have state taxes, we have, in some cases, city taxes and county taxes. And it's like, why? You have a tax on this, a tax on that. You have grocery taxes and you have, other taxes. And it's like, dude, we get taxed left, right, and center all the stinking time. It's sad whenever you have people that are literally migrating out of areas because they don't want to pay the inflated taxes. You have people that make a butt ton of money, like Trump, whom have multiple homes in various places, but are they paying taxes where they are? It's like, well, they're paying their, their property taxes. Sure, yeah. You have somebody that has a home in New York City and somebody who has a home, out here in Los Angeles, California, and then you have, another home in, Utah. And where do they claim their residency? Utah. Why is that? Because the taxes are absorbently high. Absorbently high? No, that's not right. Exorbitantly high? Maybe that's it. Yeah. Really, really high in these other places. So they claim their residency over here where the lower taxes are, and they all do it. And 90+% of these rich people contribute to Democrats, donate to Democrats, but they don't want to pay the high taxes. I mean, it's interesting to me. Talking about Denmark and socialism and whatnot. I find it laughable. And we've even seen this happen in our own country whenever the whole Obamacare came about, okay? There was a lot of companies and people who prescribed to Obamacare, that pushed Obamacare, that really wanted Obamacare, that they were like, yeah, this is the best thing to happen to medicine since we discovered that P word, that penicillin. Yeah. So this is the best thing to happen to medicine since penicillin, since we stopped using leeches. This is absolutely amazing. And then something happened. These companies figured out that, they weren't on the exempt list. And next thing you know, a lot of these companies are like, oh, Obamacare is horrible. If you ever want to know just how good or bad any law or any regulation or anything that comes out of Washington, D.C., if you want to know just how good it is, the first thing that you should ask yourself is, are they exempt from their own law? Obamacare. Yeah. They were exempt from Obamacare. They didn't have to participate. Well, if it's so good, why don't you want to participate in it? It's a pretty good question, isn't it? If public school system is so good, why don't anybody in D.C. actually send their children to the public school system? Anybody in government, period, why don't they send their kids to, these public schools if they're so good? It's a really good question. If you ever want to know if something's good that comes out of Washington, D.C., just ask yourself, are they exempt or do they participate? Are they held to account to the same laws that they want you and I to be accountable to? Now here's the thing, all right? There's some things about our founding, about the Constitution, about laws and just all that stuff, okay? There are certain things about that, the unintended consequence that ended up happening that our founding fathers didn't foresee, okay? They really didn't. They didn't foresee a world where the law writing process of laws would just be handed over to the executive branch and that Congress would be okay with that, because they thought that the problem wouldn't be in people trying to give their powers away to somebody else. They thought that the problem would come in trying to harness more power in one place, that that the judicial branch would try to they would do things that aren't quite legal and, aren't okay. They thought the executive branch would try to gather for themselves more power. They thought that Congress would try to gather for themselves more power. They didn't think that Congress would just be handing it away. They didn't foresee one of the things that they didn't like in their own country. And one of the reasons why they factioned and formed the government in the way that they did, because they didn't want Congress to be a class of itself. They didn't want the political class. They didn't want that. They didn't want people who lived, breathed. They didn't want somebody like Joe Biden who hasn't worked a day in his life, has been part of government since, the early 70s and claims that he's working for you. Bullshit. No, you're not. How can you claim to work for me whenever you've never had to live like I live? That's the thing that separated us and them mentality. That's one of the reasons why I support Trump the way that I do. Why? I mean, does he live like me? No. I mean, come on. The guy's loaded. He's got money, but he's a blue collar rich person. This is one of the reasons why Ross Perot got such a following, because he wasn't a politician. He wasn't of the political class. He in fact was the type of politician that our founding fathers wanted us to have. Somebody who goes to Washington for a reason, with purpose, and then goes back home. Goes to Washington, serves. I mean, why isn't Congress thought of in the same way that like the military is? The military is service. It's a calling. It's something that you do not because you want to, but you feel like you must because it's the right thing to do. That's what serving in Congress used to be. That's one of the reasons why they didn't get paid so much, because they didn't want it to be a profession. And they really didn't think that the people would be so freaking stupid to reelect people that don't have our best interests in mind. I mean, let's be honest. But anyway, boy, did I go off on a tangent on that one. All right, moving on. We have an issue in Washington right now. Talking about tax dollars, talking about spending, that really did lead to something, and it led to this article from Fox News. From Washington, the clock is ticking on a continuing resolution. This article from The Hill. Scroll back up. GOP plays the blame game after funding bill failure. Oh, gee. I don't know about you. But I know with me, okay, I'm frustrated about what happens in Washington. I really am. Maybe you can answer this question, because I can. I thought about it earlier. How long has it been since Congress has done their damn job? One thing specifically that Congress is supposed to be doing, that the House of Representatives are supposed to be doing, is 12 appropriation bills every year. That's their job. Among a few other things, to take care of this, that, and the other. But specifically speaking, their job is to do 12 appropriation bills every single year. That's their freaking job. When was the last time they've done their job? Why do we keep electing them back in there to not do their job? Why do they keep doing these continuing resolutions? Why do they do these omnibus bills? Why can't they do their freaking job? What's so hard about doing your damn job? You want to know why they keep doing these? I mean, honestly, do you really want to keep knowing how? Do you really want to know why they keep doing this crap? One, because they can. I mean, we let them, right? I mean, we don't hold Congress accountable to the crap that they do. I mean, good grief. Back in 2008, I talked about this once. I'll talk about it again. They had like a 4%, 4 to 6%. Let's just round it even in the middle. They had a 5% approval rating. Congress, 2008. And this poll was done like 2 weeks before the election. 2 weeks before the election. In other words, like 95% of the people said Congress is doing a crap job. They're not doing their job. We don't like the job that Congress is doing. 2 weeks later, there was an election. Guess what? Like 80+% of Congress kept their damn job. Are you kidding me? 95% of the people said, you guys suck, but keep your job. I mean, in the real world, what happens whenever you're crap at your job? You get fired. You get demoted. You lose pay. You lose money. You lose benefits. You get your hours deducted. What happens if you do a crap job in government? You get promoted. You get a raise. You get to be head of some whatever. You get moved sideways over here. I mean, when was the last time Congress did their job? They don't because they get away with it. They don't because they don't have to. They don't because we've told them that it really doesn't matter to us. As long as we get ours, we don't care if you get yours. But having these omnibus bills, having these continuing resolution bills, doing all that kind of crap, they get to hide stuff. They get to hide spending in there. And these spendings, okay, they get kickbacks from all this. That's why they all do it. Republican, Democrat, they all do it. How do you think all these people go into Washington broke and then after a little while are like multimillionaires? AOC is a prime example of this one. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez went into Congress as a stinking bartender, and now she's going to the Met Gala wearing that dress of Eat the Rich or whatever the heck the stinking thing said. I don't know. The thing cost a butt ton of money, and even going to the Met Gala cost a lot of money. Yes, I'm talking about what happened last year, but the point remains. They get elected broke. And then what? They make a butt ton of money. Insider trading is illegal on Wall Street. But apparently for Nancy Pelosi's husband, it's not illegal for him to do it. It's not illegal for Nancy Pelosi to tell, her husband about the things that they're going to be doing. And hey, you should invest here instead of there. You should move your money around. We'll make millions. It's illegal to do it on Wall Street, but it's perfectly okay for a politician to do it. Why is that? Anyway. All right, now we're going to take a break. For the same reasons as the last one. So just a couple minutes and I'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. Do you work at any of the myriad of jobs where you might have to sit on your bum all day? Well, if so, maybe you know what it's like to suffer from the condition known as swamp ass. Well, if so, have I got the solution for you.
Anti-monkey butt powder.
That's right.
Anti-monkey butt powder.
You can use it indoors, outdoors, work or play, or on any occasion when you sit on your bum all day. Don't let your buns get red. Use anti-monkey butt powder instead. Available wherever anti-friction powder is sold. All right, and we're back. Yeah, I only did like half of that one. I tell you what, man, them water pills are going to be the death of me. Just, man. And as a truck driver, they're really bad. I don't like them. I don't like them at all. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on. Let's see here. Where are we at? Talked about that. Okay, talked about that. Oh, yeah, and by the way, since I forgot to mention, they have until the end of September 30th, before they have to get this funding done and whatnot. So, yeah. All right, moving into that. let's talk the debate, shall we? Let's go ahead and do that. Let's talk the debate. I haven't talked about it yet. Let's go ahead and do it. So, what was it, Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday was the debate. And yes, I watched it. I watched it through Dan Bongino, and I thought it was... So there's a lot of stuff going around about the debate. Trump did a bad job. Kamala Harris did a bad job, yada, yada, blah, blah. But one of the things that is as plain as the fly that's flying around my freaking head, as plain as a nose on my face. One of the things that I have been hearing, and is very, very prominent if you actually did watch the debate, is that it wasn't a debate. I mean, it really wasn't. Okay. I left the door open. You had Kamala Harris, whom spewed lies left, right, and center. I mean, I heard from somewhere, I don't remember what organization had said it, but they did a fact checking on Kamala Harris in the debate. And there's like 25 lies that she said. And Donald Trump, well, I can't say as if he lied once. Now, I mean, here's the thing. President Trump may embellish things from time to time, and nobody can really deny that one, not even Donald Trump. He may embellish on this, that, and the other, but I didn't really hear a lot of embellishing going on. And who did they fact check? Was it Kamala Harris? Did they call her out on any of the Bravo Sierra that she spewed? No. Instead, they fact checked Trump. Kamala Harris talked about what was that thing? The whole I forget where it was at. Something that starts with a C or a CH. What was that? Holy crap. Well, the whole, there are good people on both sides. Bravo Sierra. Okay. She talked about that, calling Trump out on that. But it's like, look, everybody has said the same thing on it. It's like, that's crap. Donald Trump didn't actually say that, or at least, all the negative, negativity that he's getting about it is because it was taken out of context. You go like 5 seconds before or after the clip that they're using, and it's pretty freaking clear that it was out of context. Even Snopes was like, yeah, that's fake news. That was made up. There you go. Did ABC call Kamala Harris out on that? No, they did not. They didn't call Kamala Harris out on a lot of things. And it was pretty clear. It was very clear that it wasn't a debate. It was more of a 3 against 1. And that's what it amounted to. There's this headline an article that I read from a video and whatnot. And it was, oh man, where did that thing go? Nope. Well, okay. Yeah. Different false stories in there with the, the gang takeover of the Colorado, that was a false story. No, it wasn't. With the whole Haitians eating animals and eating pets in Springfield, Ohio, saying that, oh no, that's fake news. That didn't actually happen. And it was funny because, Trump even called this one out. It's like, yeah, the city manager is going to say that it's not happening. His job is to make his city look good. But you listen to the citizens and they're like, oh yeah, this has happened. Haitians are, they're getting the geese from the parks and whatnot and taking care of business right there. And then, taking them home and eating them. And here's the thing. Here's a logical question I want to ask you. if they're doing it to geese, do you really think that they're not doing it with dogs or cats or any animal that they may see? Actually, the question is, why are they using geese? Because they can catch the geese would be the answer to that one, because they can. Then why wouldn't they be doing that with every animal that they are able to get their hands on? That's a question. I think you all know what the answer to that one is. And they're trying to say that, oh, no, this is false because they don't want the negative backlash because, it's sad. We apparently don't care what the illegal aliens do to children in this country with the, how they're brutally raped and beaten and everything else. But, there's been more uproar against, what these Haitians in Springfield, Ohio, either allegedly or have been doing to pets. How sick is that? But there was this article from the Daily Caller. Headline: ABC moderator straight up admits they had to tip the scales against Trump. Yes, it was a 3-1. It absolutely was. Kamala Harris is legitimately best friends with not one of the moderators, like a program director or something, like legitimately best friends. As in, this person introduced Kamala Harris to her husband type of best friends. Now, I know what you're saying. That's not necessarily a good thing, depending on the husband. I get it, but apparently they're happy or whatever. That's how good of best friends that they are. And you're going to tell me that this wasn't tipped in Kamala Harris's favor? Are you actually going to tell me that with how prepared Kamala Harris was, that, wasn't it CNN had the debate between Hillary Clinton and Trump and gave all the questions to Hillary Clinton so that this way she can come prepared? Do you actually think that didn't happen here? Kamala Harris was very prepared for this debate, don't you think? She was very prepared. And whenever she did this whole word salad thing, did she get called out on that? No. Trump got called out left, right, and center. Did Kamala Harris get called out on anything? No, she did not. When she got asked a particular type of a question that she didn't want to answer, she ignored it. She talked around it. She didn't actually give an answer to the question. She never got called out on it. And you're going to tell me that this wasn't a one-sided debate? That this was a debate at all? Is that what you're going to tell me? Now, there were some pretty awesome things that happened in the debate, because, all right, let's go back into the Wayback Machine. Let's go last year. Okay. Not last year, 4 years ago. Whenever she was debating against Pence. Whenever she was vice president, that whole, I'm talking now. That's the whole reason why she wanted the mics to not be muted whenever a candidate wasn't talking. And of which case, if you guys paid attention to the debate, you would have noticed that, there were several times that, at least twice that I can distinctly remember where, it wasn't Kamala Harris's turn to talk and she had spouted off something and you could hear her clearly because her microphone was not off. And it should have been. And then there were times when Trump's microphone was supposed to be on. It was his turn, and they were slow to unmute his mic. But, whatever. It was just nothing to see here, I guess. But the thing about that, though, which I did find interesting, is that this was something that Kamala Harris wanted. They didn't do it, and I talked about this before, that it surprised me that they didn't end up doing that. Just leave the mics unmuted, because that's what Kamala Harris wanted, because Kamala Harris wanted that I'm speaking now. She wanted that soundbite. She wanted that video clip. That's what she wanted. And she didn't get it. But who did get that? Trump. I thought that was cool. Because Kamala spoke out when it wasn't her turn, and Trump was like, hold on, I'm speaking now. I'm like, oh, I thought that was hilarious. That was a mic drop moment for Donald Trump during the debate. Kamala Harris, you can just tell by the look on her face that she was super pissed that he's the one that got that and not her, because she tried to orchestrate the whole thing happening. And it's like, oh, that's cool. That's hilarious. I laughed. I really did. I laughed out loud. I'll admit it. One of the other things that was awesome that happened was the closing arguments. Because here's the thing, guys. Harris was all about platitudes. She was all about sound bites. She was all about, just speaking the word salad thing, saying a bunch of stuff that doesn't really make sense. And one of the things that Trump did was he did call her out on her Bravo Sierra. I mean, he did. Because in Trump's closing statements, he was like, if all these problems exist, the economy, inflation, with the price of food and the price of everything, with housing costs the way that they are, and with, the border in the condition that it's in, if you're going to at least acknowledge that all these things are a problem, then how can you separate yourself from the problem? Because this is the Biden-Harris administration. She is Harris, part of this administration right now. And with the investigation into Biden, with the whole, you're not competent enough to stand trial, even though you did violate classified documents and you had those illegally, we're not going to prosecute you, after you're no longer president, because you're just, you're too loopy in the head. You're not competent enough to stand trial. And yet he's still sitting in the Oval Office as the president of the United States of America in the White House. Are you freaking kidding me? I mean, did you forget about that little nugget of information? But the question is, who is running the country right now? Because if Biden is too competent to stand trial, how is he competent enough to be president? And if he's not competent enough to be president, because, let's face it, have you looked at his schedule in the past few weeks? There ain't been jack diddly squat on it. So the question remains, who is running the country? Is it Jill? Is it Hunter? Is it Harris? I don't know. I know whose job it is if the president is incapable, and that's Harris. Harris was the border czar, the person whom Biden put in charge of what was going on down at the border. Did she do anything positive down there? Have you noticed that they don't talk about the border? They talk about, under Trump's presidency, they talked about the kids in cages, even though all the pictures that they drummed up was actually from Obama's presidency. But, we won't talk about that. When was the last time you seen cameras go down to the border to some of these sites? How good are the conditions down there? Do we know? No, we do not. We don't know. I don't know. I can't say one way or the other. But here we are. But President Trump said that if you're going to do this, If that's what your campaign promise is here today, that you're going to fix all the problems in the Biden administration, then why haven't you fixed them? If you're going to acknowledge a promise to fix the economy, why haven't you done it already? 3.5 years. We're living with the Democrat agenda. We're living with what the Democrats want to do to the economy. We're living with that right now. If you're happy, vote for Harris. If you want change, if you want America to be great again, then vote for Trump. I mean, it's a simple thing right there. And Trump called her out on it. You're campaigning on fixing the problems that the Democrat Party made, that the Biden-Harris administration made. You're part of the problem, and you're telling me that you're going to fix it. If you're going to fix it, why haven't you already? Why haven't you fixed it already? That's what his question was. It's a legitimate question if you ask me. If Harris is so star-spangled amazing that she's going to fix all these problems, wait a second, you're vice president to a totally incompetent president. Let me say that better. If we have all these problems, then why haven't you fixed them? And here's the thing, too. Do you really think, okay, now I think that there's a puppet master involved in this. And let's be honest, whenever you are part of when you're part of the administration, when you are part of Washington, D.C., as Biden clearly is, since he's been there since the early 70s. There's a way things happen. There's people whose backs you need to scratch. There's people whom you need to pay off in one way, shape, or form. There's things that you're going to do. And if you don't, then you're not going to be doing them for very long. And we're going to do everything we can to remove you from a position of power. That's just how Washington, D.C. works. Which is what makes Trump so damning to D.C. because he's not a swampy like Biden is. He's not a swampy like Harris is. That's how they operate in D.C. It is. They're part of the problem. We have the America that they made. How can you claim to fix something when you're the one? Okay, let's put it like this. There's a rule that I had heard come out of a movie that I watched, and it's basically boils down to this: never accept an apology from somebody that just smacked you in the face. You just don't do that. You don't just walk up to somebody, smack them, and then go, I'm sorry. You don't do that. Will Smith, get my wife's name out your mouth. He walked up there, he smacked him. And if he would have immediately apologized right after doing the deed, would Chris Rock accept that apology? No. And he shouldn't. And neither should you. They did this. And then they're going to apologize for it. They're going to tell you that they're the ones who can fix it, even though, they're the ones that made the problem. That's my point. They're the ones that made the problem. And they didn't do it as an accident. They did it because they wanted to. That's like with Obamacare. That's what they wanted to do. Don't accept their apology whenever things don't go right. You didn't want it to go right. You orchestrated the failure. I mean, they knew that whenever he said that if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. If you like your plan, you can keep your plan. That they knew they were lying from the get-go, and oh, gee, well, whatever. Donald Trump called him out on the lie. How can you campaign on a platform of fixing the problem whenever you're the problem? You created the problem. And if you really believed in fixing the problem, then why haven't you fixed it already? I mean, I understand making a mistake. I understand having an idea and it not quite work out. I get that. I have that. You know, that has happened to me. I get that. You know, but you have Kamala Harris and kind of going back to the whole flip-flopping aspect of it, you know. And I talked about this last week on the show whenever I was talking with Dave on the phone. You know, Kamala Harris stated that, oh, she's against fracking 100%. She gets elected in the office. That's going to be one of the first things that she does is ban fracking. That's what she said. And then later she says that, oh, no, I didn't say that. And she basically says it in such a way that it's like, no. You've known my position on fracking. I've always supported fracking, even though there's audio, there's video of the exact opposite where she has said that I will shut fracking down. And then she goes, oh, no, that never happened, as if it never happened. And it's like, you're supposed to believe the lie that it never happened. Hello. Going back to J.D. Vance, where he didn't like Trump and now he's the VP. There was a character arc in this. He didn't deny. He said, yeah, I had that opinion before. And then he became president. And I seen what he was doing. And he changed my mind. The actions speak louder than words. And yet Kamala Harris just expects you to believe that, you know, that there's no character arc here. She's running away from the past. She doesn't want to be burdened by what was. She wants you to believe her story of what will be. There's no character arc here. She's running away from what she said because she has no reason by her change. There was no character arc. There was no, hey, I had an experience here and, you know, this experience with either my own experience or a family member's experience or a friend's experience, that it changed my mind on this view and now I believe something different. No, you've never heard that come out of the mouth of Kamala Harris. Instead, it's like, no. I never said that I would ban fracking. No, yeah, you did, honey. That's exactly what you said. You said that you would ban fracking. Here's the video right here. Let me pull it up on my phone. Has that ever happened to her? No. But people like me, we ask that question because the question is relevant. You're flip-flopping. No, I'm not flip-flopping. Yeah, you are, actually. Here's the proof that you flip-flopped. It's not a question, it's an answer. But the real question is she lying now or was she lying then? And either way you look at it, she's a liar. Why would you even consider voting for her? I don't know. That's a really good question. There are some headlines from the New York Post with Kamala's softball ABC sit down that it shows that the networks are biased, absolutely, and how she has nothing to say. Apparently, this thing was just nothing more than repeating the platitudes that came out of her mouth during the debate. She has nothing new to say. Another article from Fox News that this solo interview after the debate proves and shows that she's just unprepared for office. Yeah, I can believe that. Let's flip the script a little bit. Now, this again goes back to last week, the conversation that I had with Mr. Dave Canyon, host of Dumbing It Down with Dave. This headline from the New York Post. Oh, I don't want a video popping up. Shut up. I don't care. Pause the video. There. Paused it. Headline. Swift endorsement turns more voters from Harris than it attracts, says a poll. Again, that article was from the New York Post because apparently there was a huge ruckus about Taylor Swift endorsing Kamala Harris. And, you know, we may go to, hold on a second. Hold that thought. I'll be right back. All right, that didn't take too long. And we're back. Let's go ahead and kill the music. You kill the music. Kill the, there we go. Whew. Apparently I was clicking the wrong button on there. But anyway, getting back into this. The Swift endorsement. Now look, I think for the majority of people, of adults, okay, I'm not talking teenagers. I'm not talking, you know, even people in high school, in college, even, you know, people whom have experienced the real world. People who make their own money and have to spend their own money, paying bills, buying this, buying that, buying the other. You know, somebody whom doesn't live with mommy and daddy and work just to get money to buy what it is they want, but things that they have to have. Okay. Adults. There's a difference between children and adults. I found that out. And there's a lot of other people out there that have. But anyway, when you're talking adults, when you're talking just general people, okay, you may go to a celebrity or what have you, whether it be a pop singer, whether it be an actor, whether, whomever, a wrestler, you may get fashion sense from them. You may tailor your outfit to them. You may want to look like them. You may want, you may idolize in some way. Sure, absolutely. But when it comes to real world stuff, most adults know that there's a difference. Knows that people like Kamala Harris doesn't know diddly squat about the economy. Got to get a drink. Hold on. So most people understand that. And just like Dave and I was discussing last week, they understand that because, what does Taylor Swift know about gas prices? She doesn't drive her own vehicle, go to the gas station and have to fill it up and do that. She doesn't know. Now, look, I'm not going to fault Taylor Swift or any celebrity for that matter, one way or the other. Okay? They live in their bubble and I'm okay with that. I really am okay with a celebrity that lives in their glass house, that lives in their bubble. It's like, okay, I get it, okay? We as Americans, we love our distractions, don't we? We love our distractions. We love our Taylor Swifts, We love our 5-finger death punches. We love our actors and actresses. And we love to watch the movies, and we love to do this, that, and the other. And I really wish that Hollywood would stay off of, and they're finally, starting to figure it out, but don't use a movie that's supposed to be entertaining and preach to me about how you think I should live. I'm really getting sick and tired of that one. And they're actually finally starting to kind of get away from that. And you can tell that by how Disney has really jumped the shark, and they're losing a lot of money on movies that they've been releasing, and they're like, maybe we should start doing something different because people don't like what we've been throwing in their faces and calling entertainment. So yeah, we're okay with all that. What we don't like is getting preached to. I didn't, go to this movie to, just to have this thrown in my face. I didn't want that. I don't want your political views being thrown in my face from a celebrity. I don't want that. Why? Because you don't know. You don't really know politics. Because the high taxes, is it really going to affect a celebrity? No. Is another, 3-4% tax hike going to affect how she lives her life? Is a high fuel tax going to affect these celebrities? And the answer is no, it's not. And I was actually excited about this New York Post headline. That hopefully a headline like this, even though I know that it won't, but hopefully it'll kind of, humble these celebrities a little bit. Quit preaching to me. Stay in your lane. You don't know what you're talking about. And isn't that the truth? Because do they know what has happened to the price of eggs over the past 3 years, 4 years? Do they really know? When was the last time they went to the store, grabbed a dozen eggs, and then paid for them? But in the meantime, you have everyday Americans that are having to make the choice of, do I buy this? Do I buy that? You have everyday Americans whom are unable to take a vacation because they simply can't afford it. You have everyday Americans whom are not able to buy a home because housing prices has skyrocketed. You have everyday Americans that, that they can't travel on a vacation. They are either forced to not take a vacation at all, or they're forced to take a staycation where they save their money from, hotel rooms and whatever. They don't travel down to Florida and go to Disney World or any place else of that nature. They don't drive, they don't fly, they don't, go get the expensive tickets and buy the expensive food and stay in the expensive hotel rooms. They don't do that anymore because they can't afford it. And if they take a vacation, they stay home. You have people that don't go to the movies anymore because they just can't afford it. The luxury items they're staying away from because they can't afford it. Instead, we see inflation. We see high housing costs. We see high food costs. We see high gas prices. We see all this other stuff. And we're being told by politicians that, no, you're not seeing that. The economy is great. Don't believe your lying eyes. Are you kidding me right now? It's like, I live it. Do you? Do you really think that Nancy Pelosi is impacted by inflation? No, she's not. And you're a fool if you think she is. You're truly a fool if you think that these people, whether it be celebrity or politicians, truly care about you. Because they don't. If they did, they would do things a lot different. Oh, I can't make my house payment. Call Taylor Swift. Do you really think she cares? She doesn't. I'm actually happy to see a headline like this because it means that people aren't completely stupid. That they understand that, you get paid to sing, maybe you should do that. From any celebrity, actor, singer, what have you. Now look, I'm not going to take anything away from her talent. She's popular. She a lot of money. Holy crap. I'd like to have just a portion of that. Never going to happen, but that's okay. I'm fine with that. She's good at what she does. But she doesn't experience life the same way that the majority of Americans, of people in general, experience life. She doesn't. She can't understand what it's like. And to be honest with you, we can't understand what she's going through either. We can't, we can't understand her life any more than she can understand ours. That's just the way that it is. But I was happy to see this post. I really was. And hopefully you was too. Hopefully you had just a little bit of, was you scared a little bit, as a conservative, whatnot, was you just a little scared that maybe this endorsement from not only her, but other people, other celebrities has come out and endorsed Kamala Harris. It's like, wow. I mean, whenever we seen, Oprah, whenever she endorsed Obama, you actually did see a push in the polls. I mean, she got a boost. She gave Obama a boost in the polls whenever she endorsed him. So, I mean, was you a little afraid, a little scared whenever celebrities, especially like Taylor Swift, who came out and endorsed Kamala, was you a little afraid? Because I know that I was like, crap. Not like I thought it would really make a difference, that it would really sway things, but, make a little bit of a difference. Because, I mean, here's the thing. When it comes right down to it, that, yes, we all want everybody to vote. Okay. Vote once, vote legally. If you are an American citizen, that's exactly what I want. I want every American citizen to vote once. Let your voices be heard at the polls. Yes, that's what I want to see. However, there are people out there that I am perfectly okay with not voting. If you've got something better to do on election day, then yeah, you really shouldn't vote. If you don't know enough of the issues, and yeah, you really shouldn't vote. I'm happy with some people just not voting. The low information, no information voters are some of those, because those people are the ones who may get swayed by a celebrity endorsement because they're ignorant. I'm not going to say they're stupid, but they're ignorant. They just don't know. And for some reason, they don't pay attention to the world around them whenever they go to the grocery store. Or, maybe these people haven't tried to buy a home. Maybe they don't drive their own car. They don't put their own gas in it. Maybe they did just graduate high school and are going to college and aren't experiencing the real world for themselves. That's possible. But I don't want those people to vote. I really don't. I'm just going to be honest with you. It's important to vote, though. But it's more important to pay attention to what's going on around you. It's important to pay attention to what's going on up in Washington, D.C. It really is. Because in 2015, impactful ways and hundreds of other small ways, everything that happens in government affects you, affects me, affects every American citizen in this country, every American citizen abroad, every illegal alien here and everywhere. The decisions that take place up in Washington, D.C. truly does affect the world. Everybody. The decisions they make there affect everybody. In a handful of ways you do see, and hundreds of others that you don't. It's important. It really is. So that's all I got for you today. That's it. You guys can head on over to thehohoshow.com. I think that takes you to the right place. Let me just pop that up, and okay, so it takes you to Ho Ho Studios. That's fine, but they're just one click away from going to the Ho Ho Show right there. Clicking on that, there you go. And if you want to take a look at the news feed, just click on the news feed tab, and then you'll see it. It's all right there. Revamped website, and I'm hoping soon I'll get this thing figured out in a way that it was the way that it was, that Ho Ho Show, thehohoshow.com will take you to the Ho Ho Show instead of having to click. Yeah. One of these days that'll happen. So that's all I got for y'all today. Y'all have yourself a great one. Oh, okay. That's what I did. I'm like, what in the world? Why is that thing going off? Man, I hate it when that happens. All right, guys, before I break something else, y'all have a good one, and I'll see you in the next one. This has been The Ho Ho Show. For more information, you can head to thehohoshow.com. And for the merchandise store, you can head on over to stinkpickle.com. That is stinkpickle.com. Until next time.